The following program is a collection of hooligans engaging in lively conversations about anything and everything that happens to populate in their heads. It is meant to be comedic entertainment. The opinions expressed on the show do not necessarily reflect the beliefs of the hosts, their peers, AIM Student Radio, or the Communication Media Department. P.S. Don't sue us and don't believe anything we say. Good afternoon and welcome to the Dumpster Fire 4.2, part of AIM Student Radio, the way radio should be. I am Josh. I so sincerely apologize if you ended up hearing how loud my phone was there for just a moment. But welcome to the show. We have a great show here for you this afternoon. If any of you are wondering, okay, you sound really discombobulated. Well, I am. I'm not even going to front it, folks. It's been quite a hectic weekend. My weekends have been actually quite more lit as of late, and I'll explain that here in just a moment. But otherwise, we are back here. Those of you who celebrated Father's Day weekend, I know I certainly did. That may be part of the reason why I'm sounding a little bit discombobulated, because much food, much modelo. Such wow. It was a lot of fun, honestly. It was a pretty calm Father's Day. I actually had to work yesterday, so didn't actually go out to celebrate, but we made up for it at home. My dad grilled some bacon cheeseburgers, and what goes better with a bacon cheeseburger than, a modelo? So yeah, it was quite a fun time, but I'll go back to what I said about my weekends being a little bit more quote-unquote lit as of late. So what has been happening as of late, and actually shout out to students here at Ames who actually got me involved in this group. Shout out to Steph, shout out to Janice, to actually kind of getting me into this. They are part of a fire spinning group, and this group actually performs at every Friday when we do the Friday Fest in downtown Greeley. We actually perform. Why am I saying we? Well, I am part of that team. Basically, what it ended up happening was last summer, I ended up noticing that Steph and Janice had joined the group, and I was like, whoa, this is actually really cool and kind of interesting. I had known of this group for a long time. I've been going to the Friday Fest for a long time, and things just kind of ended up falling into place. And obviously, just hanging out over time, I ended up kind of building up the courage to actually give it a shot, and I did. A few months ago when they did the Freezy Days in downtown Greeley, I was there, helping them out, and then closer to the end of the afternoon, there wasn't anybody there. The event was over, but we were all just practicing it. Everybody was just practicing at this point, and I basically got talked into giving it a shot, and I did, and it was amazing. And now I'm part of the group, go into the practices, we go and we perform at the Friday Fest, and it is just honestly a blast for me. I'm still learning. I mean, some of the people in this group have been doing it for years. Obviously, I'm not at that level. It'll take me quite a while to get to that level, but I'd like to think that I'm getting better and better at doing it now. I've been doing, really, the staff is kind of my main prop of choice. And just this past Friday, I had the idea to be like, okay, I'm going to start, obviously spinning the staff around. Let me throw it up in the air. And I've been doing that quite a bit. And honestly, it's really cool because we do get a crowd that does watch what we do. And because Friday Fest is a family-friendly event, there's a lot of like younger kids in the crowd, and they're just absolutely like enthralled. They look at every single little thing that we do. They're like, wow, these people are spitting fire and they're throwing it up in the air and they're doing all these maneuvers, and it's just honestly so cool. Like just hearing their little whoa, like when I throw the staff up in the air, or if somebody else in the group does something really cool. We have a fire sword on there. We have rope darts. We have, I'm trying to think here, folks. I'm on the fly here. We have fire fans. We have juggling batons. Haven't broken those out in quite a while, but it's just a lot of fun. And I really do enjoy it, and I do enjoy the camaraderie that we have amongst the group, and I'm really happy that I did join this and became part of this. And actually, shout out to, I don't know the photographer's name, but one of the official Friday Fest photographers, not this past week, but the week before, caught a really awesome picture of me spinning with the fire sword. It had been one of the first times that I had actually spun with the sword while it was actually on fire, and it was a really, really cool picture. I did give them the credit for it, so don't worry, I'm not stealing anybody's thunder here, but it was an amazing picture, and I actually used it, and that's my new profile picture now, because it is just such a cool picture. Like, it's arguably the coolest picture anyone has ever gotten of me, because here's the thing about me. I don't think I'm all that photogenic, even though I look quite a bit different than I used to. I don't think I'm the most photogenic fella out there. So the fact that somebody actually took a picture and actually looked pretty good, that is amazing props to that photographer. But also, I think the thing that ties the picture together, especially if you know me, I'm wearing a My Chemical Romance shirt in the picture. So I think that picture just, food, hi Kion. Kion has just made it into the studio. So, where was I? Oh, yes, thank you. So I ended up, like I said, I made that my profile picture, but I believe that picture is me just in my most natural of elements, me doing something absolutely insane. And I do get comments from a lot of people, coworkers of mine, even just people in the crowd that are just doing that. They're like, oh, I could never do that. And I get it. To each their own. It is a scary thing. I'm not going to shy away from the fact that what we are doing out there, it is legitimately dangerous. But also, knowing me, that's, I think, just the part that I like the most about it. Because, I need the little rush. I need that little thrill. I need something to get my heart going besides the caffeine. But I've been talking actually for quite a bit now. And we have Kion, who has just made their way into the studio.
Hello.
Hi. So thankfully you didn't miss much, and I saw food, and I was like, ooh, food. Yes.
I am here now.
Yes.
I have a whole one segment that I could do.
You have a whole one segment?
It's more like a PSA, but still.
Okay. Well, it still works. This is why we have computers in the world with internet connections, so we can think of something to do. Rex is also going to be joining us later on in this program, so it's going to be a lot of fun. But I thought maybe I did, maybe I didn't. To be fair, when I was... Rex is coming. That is confirmed. Mm-hmm. But I thought I had messaged you about this, but I might not have because I was playing Gears 5. All at the same time.
Okay.
So I might not have said it. So let's go ahead and get a quick check here of your weather on this slightly cooler but yet still muggy feeling Monday. Currently in Fort Lupton, it is 76 with a high of 91, a low of 55, sunny skies, wind gusts of up to 2 miles per hour. Currently in Loveland, it is 75 degrees with a high of 89, a low of 56, sunny skies, and wind gusts of up to 2 miles per hour. In Windsor, it is 77 degrees with a high of 89, a low of 58, sunny skies, wind gusts of a whopping 1 mile per hour. And currently on the home campus of Greeley, it is 77 with a high of 90, a low of 58, fair skies, no wind. All in all, a pretty nice day, and we'll go ahead and just promote here one of the quick events that we have coming up this weekend. It's actually this Friday. It's actually going to be at the Welcome Center. It is going to be Dude Dad. He's a comedian. His On Thin Ice comedy tour is making its way here to Greeley. It's going to be hosted at the Welcome Center, which actually should be pretty cool. It is... most of the events that we have here at Ames tend to be free. However, because this is, a live performance, this is, somebody on tour doing this, there is a charge for these tickets. Depending on where you sit in the Welcome Center, they're anywhere from $35 to $45. It is going to be this Friday at 8 p.m. in the Welcome Center here on the Greeley campus. Also, if you are planning on coming out, there is going to be a clear bag policy that is going to be enforced. It is just becoming kind of the standard thing for now, like most venues nowadays. The week before when I was at the Budweiser, I'm still calling it the Budweiser Event Center
it's still the Budweiser.
Yeah.
It's like how X is still Twitter.
Yeah, same thing. But when I was out there for the AEW show a couple of weeks ago, it was the same thing. Clear back policy. That's just the standard nowadays. Just it's the way the world is now, sadly. But
But
we just go with it.
For that tour, I have heard that the tickets are kind of going pretty fast.
Yes, there is a low ticket. There is a low ticket alert. It actually says on the billboard when I drove in, just right now. It's like, oh, okay, there's still a few tickets left. So if you want to go, get them fast because they will sell out.
It's mostly due to the fact that there is limited seating.
Yes.
So there's not a very large audience for
Oh,
this.
no.
So
yeah, the Welcome Center, it's big, but it's not that big.
yeah.
So just keep that in mind, folks. If you are planning on going, snag your tickets quick because they will be gone. And now we will go ahead and let it get back to the music here on AIM Student Radio, the way radio should be. Up next, if you know me, you know what's coming. I won't even have to say it, and we'll be back. And welcome back to the Dumpster Fire 4.2, part of AIM Student Radio, the way radio should be. I am Josh here with Kion.
Hello.
Hello. So we are getting close to the top of the hour here, so we're just going to go ahead and do a quick little segment here for you folks. I had to very quickly rethink my words there. But
no further comment.
No further comment. I am somewhat caffeine deprived, but I'm going to fix that here momentarily. But anywho's, we're talking about fried chicken.
Good old fried
chicken. But if you had to choose between either eating KFC or Popeyes for the rest of your life, which one?
Okay. And we're talking specifically about the chicken, yes?
Specifically the chicken.
Okay. I think it's been a while since I had KFC, though. I think I would probably have to go with the Popeyes just because this is not just the chicken. I'll clarify that. I like the bread.
Okay.
The biscuits are
yeah.
very
No,
good.
the biscuits are great. I mean, granted, you feel a little dehydrated after eating some of the biscuits sometimes, but it is so worth
need
it.
Butter, and
it
you
is so worth
definitely need
it.
a drink with it.
Mm-hmm.
But the biscuits are so good, and I feel like at KFC the biscuits are just sad. So
yeah, like the thing with KFC is just that the biscuits are, how do I say this? Like there's mass-produced biscuits and then there's like KFC mass-produced biscuits, and you can tell like pretty quickly.
I also think that I just kind of generally prefer like the Cajun style stuff versus just like the plain old fried chicken.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't really like KFC spicy chicken blend.
I usually don't get the spicy chicken blend from there. If I do, it's just I always get either the original recipe or extra crispy.
The reason I asked if we're specifically talking about the chicken though is because if we're like looking a little bit broader, if you go to KFC, most of them are A&W.
Yeah,
and so
or we have the one here on 8th Ave. That's the KFC and the Long John Silver's.
Yeah. So you can also get the root beer.
True.
And I do like
the A&W root beer is
float.
really good. I just realized actually I haven't eaten anything from A&W in like so long.
Yeah.
But it was kind of funny because when I was training at the bank that I work at before they let us work from home, because you have to do the training at the bank, like I would get off like for lunch. We didn't have a whole lot of time, so we would end up going like, because you just went a little bit further down and there was that shopping center on 10th Street that you had the McDonald's, you had the KFC and the A&W and Burger King, and almost always I would either hit the Golden Arches or I would hit or I would get that Burger King, because for some reason, even though it's on 10th Street, which is, pretty busy street, for some reason that Burger King was just never busy. And it was almost always like if I would look at the line at McDonald's and I'm like, nah. And then I'd be like, oh, Burger King's right here. I can like get in and out in like 2 minutes.
Personal opinion, I don't like beef that much. And so Burger King is one of my lowest ranked fast food places.
But a Bacon King and chicken fries.
See, chicken fries are okay. They're all right.
Bacon King and chicken fries.
But
and then you take the ranch and the buffalo and you mix them together. And it's so good.
I'm really quite picky about beef, and I really rarely ever prefer it. So I almost always will just get like a chicken sandwich from like everywhere.
Okay.
So Burger King's ranked pretty low. I think in general as a restaurant, KFC is way more like American style diner.
Yeah.
Whereas like Popeyes is definitely more like broader. They've got more like Cajun stuff.
Yeah.
They've got more like styles of food that you can
Oh,
have.
for sure.
As in like spice wise. Whereas
Yeah.
KFC basically has their one spice blend, you know? So you can actually get a little bit more of what's the word I'm
A little
looking
more
for?
flavor.
Yeah, like or just like different options.
Yeah.
So
Like if we're at home and we end up like ordering something on DoorDash, and if it's chicken, my parents, like, they will not touch KFC. Like,
Really?
they haven't in a very, very long time. So almost always it's Popeyes.
yeah.
And I'm not going to complain. But also when Popeyes first opened here in town, I ate it almost like that first week that it was open. I ate it like almost every single day that week. I was hooked because I really do like Popeyes, but like I was taking it to a whole other level. And this is before they actually had the chicken, like the actual chicken sandwiches.
Yeah.
So it was like, oh, I'm gonna get like, you know, the 3-piece, and then I'm gonna get the chicken tenders.
Yeah.
Oh, and then I'm gonna get, you know, a 4-piece, and it was bad. Like they made a good money off of me that first week.
In KFC's favor, I think if you are specifically ordering for like a large group of people or like a lot of chicken, it is the better option because they can do those large orders quite well, and it is substantially cheaper to do it there.
Yeah.
So I think in their favor, that's definitely a point for them. They've also got, it's kind of like if you go to the grocery store and get like the big baskets of chicken, but way better quality. So.
Oh yeah. Like for me, so back when I became an Eagle Scout in a past life when someone had hair.
You're both Eagle Scouts? Dax is also an Eagle Scout.
Yeah, Dax was kind of following in my footsteps. I did it first. I did it in 2012.
I didn't.
Dax is gonna like kick me for that.
Yeah, Dax
now.
is gonna hear this and be like, "What?" But okay, continue.
Yeah, but
continue.
anywho's, when I did my Eagle Court of Honor, we did not have much money, and we ended up getting 100-piece fried chicken, but from Walmart.
Oh yeah.
In hindsight,
Oh yeah.
Maybe not the best move.
I think that's actually the peak move.
Like
absolute.
In terms of
best.
saving money, it was great.
Yeah.
But you know, in terms of the food, you know, it was like, oh, like granted, if it would have been more money, I probably would have gotten the King Soopers fried chicken because I love that King Soopers fried chicken. But anywho's, yeah, it was like in hindsight, like it was an amazing party. Like I loved it, but like with hindsight now, it's just like, oh yeah,
Walmart
we got that Walmart chicken. But it was, you know, it was just a consequence of that time. Like we didn't have a whole lot of money, so it was like, well, we got to do something, and that's the cheapest. Okay, let's go.
It's also just a kind of reliable choice, you know.
It really was, because we were able to get the order in, and it wasn't that long because it wasn't that we were waiting until the last minute. We just had to basically scrounge up everything at the last second. Money wise to be able to get it, and we put the order in like 3 days in advance, and they were able to do it, whereas other places for orders like that, they're like, oh, we need like, you know, a week, and they managed to get it in there. But I was like, you know what, I'm not gonna complain about this. But now, like, obviously in hindsight it's been a while, but it's like, oh yeah, Walmart chicken, we had Walmart chicken.
So that has been Popeyes is the popular choice.
That has been Popeyes is the popular choice, and we are getting now closer to the top of the hour, so we will go ahead and let it get back to the music here on AIM Student Radio. The way radio should be. Up next, we got What a Man by Salt and Pepper. Enjoy. And welcome back to the Dumpster Fire 4.1, 4.2, part of AIM Student Radio, the way radio should be. I am Josh, and I don't really know why I decided to throw my voice like that just now.
I think you were mimicking my very good and not bad emo voice impression that I was doing before we got on.
Yes, but also, Kion, you must remember, I can do the voice too.
That is true.
I am an elder emo,
that
after
is true.
all.
Yes.
You know, it's like I wasted many years of my early childhood life looking at my bathroom mirror trying to mimic Gerard Way's voice to the point that like I can kind of do it now, and it's like, oh well, is that good, or did I actually screw up my voice trying to mimic him?
There is a strong chance you injured some vocal cords.
There's
buddy.
a strong chance I did that, and now I'm just stuck with it. So it's like, well, I might as well just use it now. You know, got to do something with it. But yes. So in the meantime, while we were on break, let's see. We ended up searching. Well, I ended up, I should say. Basically, more and more proof that we found. A lot of Taylor Swift songs really do work as emo cover songs. You just have to change the instrumentation.
Yeah.
around.
So this started when we mentioned Kelly Clarkson's song "Since You've Been Gone."
Yes.
Which we both have decided that is technically could be classified as an emo song if you change the instrument.
If you change the instrumentation, I argue that Behind These Hazel Eyes, it is very much an emo song.
Yeah. And so that kind of led Josh naturally to talking about Taylor again because he has a problem and an obsession.
Whoa.
So, I speak the truth.
Whoa.
I speak the truth.
Whoa.
But there has been official covers done of Taylor's songs in like punk.
Yeah, and
like,
punk goes pop.
And I do actually appreciate it. I like to give Josh I what's the right word? Issues, slack.
Grief.
But grief, yes.
Grief.
But there is some pretty darn good covers of Taylor's stuff for punk. So
Yes.
that's what was happening.
So that literally was what was happening, and it was just like, oh yeah. Like Behind These Hazel Eyes, like I was mentioning to Kion how like I remember back like listening to the radio, they would play like early MCR because it was like, 04, 05, so Black Parade wasn't out yet. And then we had, early Fall Out Boy. So you had, like From Under the Cork Tree, Infinity on High, some early Panic in there as well. But they would throw in Behind These Hazel Eyes in there, and it didn't feel out of place.
Yeah.
Like, sure, it's a little lighter than some of the other songs that would be played, but lyrically, like, that is emo. Yeah. And I was telling also Kion how during a very, very, very sad canon event in my life, how I kind of lost it listening to that song. And that's all that people need to know.
I just think it's very funny that a lot of people are like, oh, this is like a country artist. This is like a girl rock song, you know, and so they don't think of it as emo.
But it is.
Yeah.
Like the video itself, if you actually go back and watch the video, it is very emo.
Yeah.
Like, so how do you spoil a video that's almost 20 years old? I don't think you can anymore. So we'll just go ahead and say it. The video, it's basically Kelly's getting ready for the wedding and, all the pomp and circumstances. And then a rainstorm hits. And then as the actual wedding begins, Kelly begins to realize that the man she's about to marry is not the most trustworthy person, and there is a girl in the crowd that is obviously, kind of having fun with the man she's gonna marry.
Right.
And it just turns into this whole big, your typical emo scene, the pounding on the ground while there's a rainstorm going on, the screaming, the stuff getting destroyed. Like, it is quintessential emo. And then a few shots of Kelly later on, like post-wedding, like wearing this dark gothic looking dress, which like
that is like that is exactly like emo core stuff though.
Exactly. Like that is the thing.
It
like
is
that's
literally
the aesthetic.
like black wedding aesthetic.
Yes.
So
like and just for the record, I'm gonna find a way to somehow to make it happen. Like ever since I watched the video for Helena by MCR the very first time, I always said, I'm like, whoever I marry, they are gonna walk down the aisle wearing a black and red dress that looks just like the one in that video. And I said that in 2004, and I'm saying it again now. I will find a way to somehow make that. In an ideal world, that would be what would happen. Obviously, whoever I end up marrying, obviously their choice would have to, obviously their ideas would have to be in account as well. But also I found out, well, the church that the video was shot in, it's in California. It looks almost exactly the same as it did in the video. And there was
Nice.
actually a couple that met at an emo karaoke night that later got together. They got married in that church.
Nice.
I was like, that's
Josh's
goals.
dream wedding.
That is goals. Well, actually, whoa.
Uh-oh. No.
Not
Josh,
that, not that.
hit pause.
Not that, actually. Sorry, folks. Hit the mute button there for a second, but excuse me there.
Good job, Josh.
But that is like straight up goals, or actually the church that I was baptized in, because I actually wasn't baptized here in Greeley. I was actually baptized in Denver. This church, we actually had my godparents' 50th wedding anniversary there. They renewed their vows in there.
Mm-hmm.
This church, on the outside, it looks like a very typical Hispanic church, and it looks really cool. On the inside, it has kind of this gothic
Like the
looking,
very like old Gothic, like Catholic
like
look.
it's newer. It's on the inside, they've redone it, so it's painted white and it looks really brilliant, but it has this kind of very gothic-y look to it.
Gotcha.
Like, obviously, if I had the money to go get married in Cali at the MCR church, I would, but I probably won't have that.
The MCR church.
So that one in Denver, I was always like, and in a past life, that was considered as an option. But I'm just
before the
saying,
canon event.
before the canon event, but it's still on the table for me. Like, one of the ideas I had was like either that church, or, even though it'd be ludicrously expensive, Red Rocks.
Ooh, that would be nice though. A nice outdoor wedding.
Yeah, either that, or just also to kind of keep up with the emo gothic thing, the Stanley Hotel. But it would have to be in October.
That would be fun. I personally would enjoy that as well, just because it would be it's such a big piece of Colorado,
Yeah.
like our area, so it would be very fun, like, to come back and get,
Yeah, but it would have to
So-
be like in October, and it would probably be more expensive just because of the time of day that I want to do it. I would have to have it happen like right as the sun starts going down. So when we
he's
get
got
to
this all planned.
this is what happens when you don't sleep, Kion. You have a lot of time to plan things. Granted,
Yeah.
some of the caffeine may have something to do with it, but you get a lot of time to kind of think ideas in your head.
And in general, though, I never really understood the whole, like, everything must be perfect.
Yeah.
I need an over-the-top wedding. Like, I get it occasionally. You want to have, like, a big event.
Mm-hmm.
But I've never really understood, like, the, like, ride or die kind of bridezilla thing.
Yeah, like,
So-
or maybe there'd have to be some flexibility in it for me. Like, this would just be like in an ideal world if
Yeah.
everything worked out exactly the way that I wanted to, which, if we know anything about my life, that doesn't really seem to be the case a whole lot. But, like, that would be like the ideal thing for me. And even though, like, I say it out loud, but part of me is just like, is this really me, or is this just like me having a big
would
head?
sound good.
Yeah, it's just like, is this just me having a big head? But who knows,
Yeah. And that has been weddings.
And that has been some.
Josh coughing directly
Sorry,
into a
I'm
microphone.
trying not to, folks. I really am trying not to. Word of advice, and like we've said before, we don't advocate smoking on this show. This is why. Even though I quit for years now, it has come back to haunt me. But anywho, so yeah, this was talking about Taylor Swift pop or emo covers to weddings. Brought to you by the Dumpster Fire 4.2, part of AIM Student Radio, the way radio should be. And we will let it get back to the music here with a certain Taylor song. Enjoy. And welcome back to the Dumpster Fire 4.2, part of AIM Student Radio, the way radio should be. I am Josh, here with Kion and with our special guest, Rex.
Hello. It's funny that you never cough off mic.
Yeah. You start
that's 'cause
coughing
the
as
cough-
soon as you do your intro.
The cough hits right away, and by the time I'm like, oh, I'm going to turn my head around, like, the cough's already out.
yeah.
So it's like I have to learn how to, like, counter the cough and just, like, turn my head
Counterspell the
away.
cough.
Yeah, I know. It's like I need a Perry mechanic for the cough,
Yeah.
Just be like, no.
So this segment is basically just going to be a PSA, public service announcement. So basically, TLDR, there is a outbreak going out right now of a salmonella and bird flu. The bird flu in particular is usually spread just by chickens. However, it has spread to dairy farms across the U.S., including in Colorado. The majority of people, there's only been like a total of like 8 people that have actually got it. However, pretty much all of those people are people who own and operate farms. And so if you know anybody who is a rancher or has cattle or chickens, please inform them to be extra careful when handling their chickens and cows, especially when cleaning up after them. Because so far, pretty much all of it has been received respiratory-wise.
Yep, respiratory.
So whenever like they're handling like hay or like cleaning up the barn after them is when they've been getting it. So I heavily recommend to anyone who is a rancher to use masks when cleaning up after your cattle, because that is how people have been getting the bird flu. The other thing is it has been officially confirmed that it can transfer through unpasteurized milk. So if you are a rancher, please pasteurize the milk that you drink. Don't have it raw. You might get bird flu. So
yeah, definitely want to be careful out there, especially now, just because you always do have to kind of monitor stuff like this, because if it gets to the point where like the bird flu, especially if it's affecting, poultry, so chicken, that can cause prices of it to skyrocket, especially if it gets to a point where the bird flu begins to affect a great many chickens.
The other thing is because it's also affecting cows, I'm concerned that it might be affecting milk prices soon.
Yeah, and we already had to deal with that. What was it, like a year or two ago, where milk prices just like skyrocketed?
But the salmonella thing, the other thing to be aware of, it has been confirmed that it can transfer to your reptiles. So if you have bearded dragons, they can carry the salmonella as well.
Ooh.
So I know Rex actually works at a reptile store.
Yeah, I thought this was already common knowledge that most reptiles have the potential to carry salmonella.
Yeah.
Like, that's always been a thing. That's always why when you have red slider turtles or any kind of snake or anything, you need to wash your hands before and after.
Yep. So anyone who has reptiles, be extra careful before and after handling them, just because there is an increase of salmonella going on. If you have chickens, please clean the eggs that you use very well and cook them thoroughly. Please.
Yes, please. Pretty please.
So that is just my quick little PSA. Don't get sick, people.
Yeah, because
we've been dealing chickens.
Oh,
and
I was going to say
lizards.
I don't have chickens, but I don't have chickens, but I eat a very great deal of them.
Yeah, we're still thinking about chicken from ours KFC better.
Yes, we are.
Yeah.
Especially, like, I just realized I haven't had, like, a rotisserie chicken in a couple of weeks. And usually now my going rate, if I get, like, a rotisserie chicken from Sam's Club, my going rate is literally I eat half the chicken.
Oh, dear.
Oh, wow.
That's a lot of chicken.
Yeah.
That is a lot of chicken.
Yeah, I eat half the chicken. And my dad, he keeps being like, do you ever think you're going to go for the full chicken? I'm like, if I don't eat anything else for the rest of the day, I think I could eat the whole chicken.
If I was hungry, I think my mic is low, but if I was hungry, I would eat a full chicken, but I would eat it throughout the day and not.
You would graze on a chicken?
I would graze on a chicken
I don't think I'd be able to eat
one bite every minute.
I wouldn't be able to, like, graze on a chicken. I would have to, like, when it comes right out of the oven, like, I've gotten to the point where I'll have it, like, almost timed, like, when they pull them out of the ovens at Sam's Club. And I'll get it right there. And since I live pretty close to Sam's Club, like, I'll take it home. Yeah. And it's like, all right, get my scissors, cut this bad boy in half. There it is on my plate, and I'm eating half a chicken. And it's still, like, really hot. So
maybe you have a problem if you're getting there on time, because I have no idea when they make those bad boys. I just show up
in the morning.
No, actually, they usually come out about, oh, man, I'm giving it away now. It's usually around, like, 4 o'clock, they'll do one wave. And then for the big dinner rush at 5, that's when they do, like, an even bigger wave.
Got it.
So, yeah, I kind of...
Josh has the chicken time down.
I do have the chicken times down.
It's on his phone. He has an alarm. It just says chicken time. I'm sure of it.
Most places that do... I counted it that time.
Good job.
Most places that do chicken like that, like usually around the dinner rush, they'll end up doing quite a bit at that time. Like King Supers tends to have like a lot coming out at that time. They'll do like a smaller batch at 4, but usually like the huge batches come out around 5 because that's when people are getting off work and then they go and get their chicken.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chicken.
But that has been our public service announcement regarding salmonella and chicken and
Bird
cows.
flu.
And bird flu and cows. And now we will go ahead and let it get back to the music here on AIM Student Radio, the way radio should be. Enjoy.
Hey, this is AIM Student Radio. We are the Dumpster
Filer?
Fire? Yeah.
Filer?
We're the
good
dumpster filer.
I'm not used to saying the Dumpster Fire. I am Rex from the roller coaster, their special guest of the summer, fellow radio student,
Hello.
question mark.
Hello.
That was Honesty by Be Brave. Be Brave. I almost just said Be Honest. I had a cool weekend. What did you guys do? I went to the Spartan race.
Oh, I forgot you did the Spartan race. Yeah.
I remember seeing the post on Insta, and I was like, whoa.
I didn't
Wow.
do anything.
That's totally fine. I normally don't do anything.
I worked Saturday and I did Father's Day stuff yesterday. That was it. So,
Yeah, I got home yesterday and then talked to my father.
Yep.
You were saying?
I was going to say, I had to work Saturday and Sunday, but I didn't have to work all night. I only had to work until 7 p.m., so I still had some time.
Nice.
So, and after work, there was, food, beer, and more beer.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah, that's a pretty typical Josh at home weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah, this week has been weird. I'm 21 now.
Oh,
Wow.
fun. You're older
If
than
you
me.
ever want to
Wow.
celebrate, just hit your
That's-
boy up.
I don't really drink unless it's social, but not that I would know before
Right.
I was 21.
Yeah.
But
Right. It's gonna be weird. I'm gonna be moving in this fall, so it's
Yeah.
gonna be weird coming back and being able to drink.
Yeah.
It's gonna be weird, like coming back at Christmas and being like, "Hi, family, I can partake in the alcohol now."
Right.
if I so choose.
Yeah.
Like for me, it's always weird because I was born 2 days after Christmas.
Oh yeah.
So like my 21st birthday was just very. It was like, oh yeah, the joy of Christmas, and then 2 days later, and it was because of this that there weren't really a whole lot of people at my 21st birthday because
Yeah.
everybody was so pooped out from Christmas.
Yeah.
Like a few of my buddies from high school were there, and a few of my cousins, but it was kind of a smaller affair just because 2 days after Christmas, everyone was already either broke or just dead tired. So I was just like, oh okay, whatever, it's fun.
my
Or
older
just
sis-
celebrate your birthday on Christmas.
That
when-
was an idea, but I was just like, no, I want to have to do it more like the actual day. However,
Yeah.
like Christmas Eve, obviously my whole family did get together, and there was some celebration. That's all I'll say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The my sister is sort of the same way. She is 32 now, but she is her birthday is like the day before New Year's Day.
Oh.
So it's not the day before New Year's Eve, I mean.
Oh, okay. So it's like right
So-
in that middle.
Yeah. So it's her birthday, New Year's Eve, New Year's.
Yeah.
So very frequently it's like Christmas is right before it,
Yeah.
and then her birthday, and then New Year's. And so
Yeah.
it's kind of just swept in between the holidays.
Mhm.
So yeah.
That like week between Christmas Eve and New Year's Day, I always think of that as like dead week because
Yeah.
nobody really. You don't really do anything. Like you just like you have your holiday celebration, but then like in those days in between, you just don't really do much. And then it's like, oh yeah, the next holiday. Here we go.
Yep.
Were Spartans Greek or Roman?
They were Greek.
They were.
I know
Wait,
too
weren't
much
they?
about Greece.
Weren't they separate? Because wasn't it? Oh no, it was a Greek. I remember
are.
now. I was like, hang on, let me just browse my extensive comic book knowledge.
Yeah,
Oh
I'm
yeah, I
thinking,
remember
like
now.
Athens, Corinth,
So
Spartans.
yeah,
Or
Sparta
the
was
Greeks.
just South Greece, so they had a lot of different habits than like a lot of the rest of Greece, just because they were a little bit more just connected from everybody else.
In particular, the women would be called thunder thigh women because they would
Tunics?
Tunics.
Yep.
Yes, thank you so much for that, Kion.
Yeah.
So they would hike up their tunics so they could run,
Yeah.
and then everyone else was like, "Oh, how improper!" But they knew how to fight because they were bad,
Yeah.
cool. They were super cool.
So part of the reason that women in Sparta just had more rights was just because all of the men were in the military. And so there was no one at home to do things like be farmers and blacksmiths. And so they ended up having those like other jobs just because all of their men are in the military and dying. So
everyone was being trained to be really good at combat, so they had to
Yeah.
do pretty much everything else.
Yep.
They were
I mean,
awesome.
I graduated as Spartan, Grilly West, so yay. Slight
Yay.
representation there. But I will say, like, that is major props for trying to do the Spartan race, because that's quite the endeavor.
Oh yeah, it's a 3K for the sprint.
Oh,
I mean a 5K. Sorry, it was 3 miles, almost 4 miles.
Hold on, let me do the math of what 3 kilometers is.
No, it's
to
a 5
miles.
kilometer.
It's
okay.
5 kilometers,
Yeah.
3 miles.
About
Is that math? Hold on, let me see if that
It's
math.
a 5 kilometer sprint, but the math for the race total is about 3 to 5 miles.
Okay.
Because it's about 3.5 miles for the 5K if you do all the obstacles and just do the course.
Okay.
But if you have to do a penalty loop, all your walking adds up to almost 4 or 5 miles.
Yeah, so
man.
5 kilometers is just over, like just barely over 3 miles.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
But with
And
the,
I did
like, the
almost-
course and everything, that's like a whole other level
Yeah.
of...
Yeah, it was almost 4 or 5 miles for me because I could not do a lot of the courses, a lot of
Right.
the obstacles. It was fun. It was interesting.
Fun.
Because there is one person at my gym that I'll see, and they look like they're in pretty good shape, but they have like one of those like you can tell that they just cut a shirt, and so it's just got like the sides open.
Yeah.
But it says on the back, and I always remember because they wear the same shirt all the time. It's just like training for the Reebok Spartan race, and I'm just like, okay, I'm like I can. Yeah. No, I mean like how to say this. Props to anybody who does it. I myself know that if I tried doing that, my body's like. No,
I
you're not.
I
fail.
walked to the entire thing. I walked.
Oh, okay.
I walked the entire thing. Took me 2.5 hours.
Okay.
Dang.
Yeah.
I mean, that's still pretty good.
Oh,
was
yeah.
cool.
Yeah. Especially when you consider all the obstacles.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I did some of them. I didn't do all of them because
Yeah,
I could
so
not do
real.
like the rope climbs or monkey
Oh, I
bars or
couldn't
anything.
either.
'Cause
Yeah,
I've never
no.
been able to do monkey bars, not even as a kid.
Me
so
neither.
Oh yeah, no, same.
Can't
I would
do
only
monkey bars
can't do
gay.
monkey
I would only
bars.
get like about halfway across, and then I would fall off.
I just can't support my own weight very good. I have flimsy, not ankles, wrist.
Yeah.
So
me too.
yeah. So I can kind of get myself on top of the monkey bars because I
Yeah.
can use my shoulders to lift.
Mhm.
But doing like the swing from each to each puts too
Yeah.
much pressure on my wrist.
I know, I need to
Like
get
for
better
me,
at
what
it
I
or
would try to
something, I don't know.
do is I would try to like swing really fast before my arms would get too tired,
Yeah.
and I'd fall off, and I'd maybe make it like a rung or two after the midway point, but then at that point my arms are like, no, you're not.
Yeah.
And it's not like there's any playgrounds with adult monkey bars to go practice on either. So I had no
Yeah.
idea of what that
So
could
you
do.
could just use like a normal playground one, but then you're just
Yeah,
Yeah, then
and
everyone's
it's
like-
playground.
built for
Yeah.
adults, so the
Yeah.
ring was literally this big,
Oh,
and so I
okay.
could hardly grab around the entire circle.
So
because
it's like the
an
size of like a
adult.
fist.
Yeah.
So imagine like if you're a kid and you're grabbing.
Yeah, because those
A
handles are a
normal
little
one.
thinner.
Yeah.
When you're a kid and you're grabbing it, it's about the size of your hand, anyways.
Yeah.
So then they made it for just you as an adult, and
Yeah.
it's like
Plus, it's taller, so the
Oh, man.
yeah.
taller. It was like, wow,
Yeah.
what is this for 7-foot tall people? It was.
Right. That I couldn't do that.
Yeah.
I mean, I am afraid of heights, but I did the 20-foot wall climb.
Nice.
And then the climb down, I started kind of like breathing really loudly. And everyone is so nice at these competitions, be it like
Yeah.
powerlift meets at NoCo Fitness
Mm-hmm.
or the Spartan race. Everyone is just super nice and supportive. Because I was like, can I use your gloves to just try and get a better angle? I couldn't do it
Yeah.
still because they had palmless gloves.
Mhm.
And I went, I asked the wrong person, but
Yeah.
thank you so much. And then I
Yeah.
did the penalty walk. So,
Gotcha.
and then when I was low key hyperventilating but breathing very heavily on the 20-foot wall, everyone was like, "You're doing so good. You're doing so
Nice.
much better than me."
Yeah.
I'm like, girl, thank you so much, but you're not freaking out over there.
Yeah. Dang.
One of the very few panic attacks I can remember having was when we went to, I think it was Loveland Laser Tag, and there was
I love that
there's the
place.
ropes course there.
Yeah, I can't. I never did the ropes course there. Do they still
Yeah.
have like the dodgeball area? Did they take that
They
out?
do not. They have
okay, because
they have a wall climb and a ropes course.
Okay,
Yeah.
because back then when they did have the
And bumper
dodgeball, when they did have the dodgeball area, that's actually how I ended up like re-aggravating my knee after I had injured it initially, because there was no mats down on the ground, so it was just the concrete.
Oof.
And I tried to dive for somebody like went for a direct hit at me, and I tried to duck.
Yeah.
And instead of trying to and I forgot, oh, this is concrete, and instead of trying to be like, oh, let me fall on my chest to see if maybe that helps, no, right on my knee.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, and it was just pure
on your
concrete.
chest on concrete.
I wasn't thinking. All I
mean,
saw
it's
was
better
big
than
red
landing
ball
directly
coming
on your
straight
knee.
towards me.
Yeah.
My first instinct was duck,
Yeah.
but I ducked so fast, and basically all my whole body weight, and at the time I was significantly heavier, right on my knee, and it was just right on the concrete, and you just hear just a crack,
Ooh.
and I'm just like, oh, expletive for like a few moments until I can finally be like, okay, it's not broken. Okay, I
Yeah.
can still move it. I can barely put weight on it, but I gotta like limp out of here now.
Oof.
Yeah.
So the story for the rope climb for me is basically it was like a middle school thing, where it was like our advising class, home class, like field trip thing, where we all went to Loveland Laser Tag for pizza, laser tag, and activities, you know. And my friends really wanted to do the ropes course, and I tried to be the big, brave, strong, and to do it with them.
Yeah.
And I did pretty okay on like the first two sections because it was like a spider web net. But the next one was one where you had to like go from like two like planks that are not connected.
Yeah.
And I remember I was gonna go from one plank to the next, but there's a gap. And I remember as I let go to the next one, I felt like the drop sensation, and then I don't remember anything until they helped me back down because I just started like sobbing.
Yeah, you were just like, nope.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
not a good time. Whoopsies.
Yeah, no, I definitely want to say that I'm a little bit more of like, I just like the adrenaline. So the one thing I want to do, and I haven't been able to do it yet, mostly because of cost, but on top of the Stratosphere Hotel in Vegas, they have the sky jump where you can bungee jump off of that thing. And it is expensive. It's like $160. So that's the main reason that I haven't been able to do it. But I'm like, I want to do it.
I could never skydive. Not ever. If I have panic attacks on a rope course, I don't want to
you're
know
like-
what skydiving's gonna look like.
Well, what about indoor skydiving?
That I might do,
I
like
would
in
do
between
that.
those fans.
Yeah.
I don't
Which
know.
is funny because in Vegas, right down the road from the convention center where we're at when we go to BEA, there's an indoor skydiving spot just like
Yeah.
right there.
I feel like I would be more comfortable there, but it's still possible just because I feel at that point my brain would be like, big spinny fan. What if get in fan? So
Yeah, well, there is a little grill there
I
to
know,
make sure that
but-
you don't go in.
I know, but my brain is full of goblins that are scared. Scared
That
goblins.
being said, we hope you, the audience, contemplate your worst fears as we go to the music.
Yes. And as we do go back to the music here on I countered it again. Here on AIM Student Radio, the way radio should be. And welcome back to the Dumpster Fire 4.2, part of AIM Student Radio, the way radio should be. I am Dax, here with Kion. Rex will be back momentarily.
Yes. This.
Oh my gosh.
Oh no! Apparently, I'm not prepared either.
Oh no.
I was about to say that Rex was not prepared, so they are taking a quick break. But apparently, I'm not either because I couldn't form a sentence.
I mean, can any of us form sentences right now? Let's be
I don't
honest.
think so. I don't
Yeah,
think
I don't
my
think so either.
14, 15 years in education have really taught me how to do a sentence. So.
I don't know if they taught me a thing about doing a sentence, but they did
No.
teach me that the mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell.
I do remember that. Yeah.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I also remember the the a squared
A squared plus B squared equals C squared.
C squared.
And
that's
I
for
also
the
remember,
triangles.
yeah, and I also remember all three sides of a triangle must equal 180 degrees.
Yes. And
Yeah.
the rest, no.
Yeah, and the rest, no. And then
Nope.
acute angles are little angles.
Right.
Obtuse angles are very big
Yes.
angles.
And then the equilaterals
Yep.
are triangles.
Yep, equilaterals, and then you had to deal with isosceles and
Mm-hmm.
all of that. Hey, what do you know? Products of the education system.
Yes. We know about triangles.
Yeah.
And that's about it.
Yep. We know about triangles. We know that the mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell. We also know that at some point in high school we had to read Romeo and Juliet.
I actually never was forced to, but I was forced to read Hatchet. And
Everybody had to read Hatchet as well. That was
and
one of them.
we did that in reading groups, and someone made the poor decision of complimenting how quickly I could read. And so I proceeded to spend the rest of the book reading it so fast I don't remember like any of it by the time that we had to do quizzes. So
Yeah, no, I remember that we had to read Hatchet.
yeah.
And then because I was in one of the gifted and talented groups in school, which
You could read Magic Treehouse real fast.
I could read Magic Treehouse real fast. And then also what ended up happening was that in my gifted and talented group, we ended up reading the rest of that series because Hatchet was the one book, but then they made other ones where they're like, oh, we're going to do Brian's Winter, which is what would have happened if the transponder would have never worked.
I think they made us read that one. I also don't remember that one, but they didn't make us read the rest.
And then we had to read The River, which was basically this guy from like a government survival program basically hires Brian to be like, well, we want you to do that again. And then they put him in the same situation almost, but then the government guy gets injured and then Brian has to figure out how to get him and the government agent dude out of there.
Great.
And I don't know if I have that one, but I know for sure I have Hatchet and Brian's Winter.
Yeah. I remember that we also read The Chocolate Touch, which is a book.
Oh, yep, I remember that one.
Yep, I think that these were all like required readings for
required
Colorado.
books. We had to read The Ides of March. I think we had to read that one.
I don't remember that one. One that I remember was, I think it was like Jupiter Rising or something like that.
Might have been.
And essentially it was a very sad book about this kid who accidentally had a kid really young. And so
dang.
It was
Didn't have to read that one. That was definitely before my time.
And then Outsiders.
Didn't have to read that one, but we had to read The City of Ember.
I loved Outsiders. I was insufferable about Fahrenheit 451 and Outsiders.
Yep, no, I had to read Fahrenheit.
Yeah.
For sure.
Because I remember other people in my
Military?
middle
I was like,
school
Kion.
middle school reading group were like, I don't like this book. It's too wordy. I don't get it. And I'm over here like trembling, like they made them burn the books. They made them burn the books.
Yeah, and then it was just like, no, I had to read that one. Ended up reading 1984 as well. So I definitely do like that. I definitely got a lot of like dystopian books in there.
They made us read The Giver too. So we had a couple other flavors of dystopian.
Oh, there you go. And then I remember we also had to read we ended up having to read quite a few Edgar Allan Poe poems and short
That's
stories.
What my junior thesis
which I was
about.
just like, which me, being emo, I was just like,
Yeah.
yes, please. Or you knew it. I knew that I at that point basically, well, people knew that I was an emo in school, but the way that it was a dead giveaway was literally we had to popcorn read The Raven. And I had to read it first, and I wasn't even looking at the book when I said the first part, and everyone just looked at me, and they're just like, oh, here goes the sad guy. And I'm just like, oh, everybody just saw that.
Oh,
so then
that's funny.
The other times that I had a popcorn read, I would actually like look down at the book, and I'm
Just
like,
to
even
pretend.
just to pretend, I'm like, even though I know this.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had to read that one. The Raven, The Cask of Amontillado,
Ooh.
Telltale Heart.
Good ones.
Yeah. And actually, there is one company that makes this really.
Amontillado Poe?
Yeah, it is.
Oh, I didn't know that.
It is. And then we had to read. And there's this clothing company I like. It's called Black Craft Cult. They make some spooky looking clothing.
Nice.
But they have this really cool Edgar Allan Poe shirt that the front of it is his face.
Mm-hmm.
And then on the back of it, no, and it actually says Nevermore, like right below his face. But then right on the back of it, it's written almost like in the font that they use for like the charts that you go to the eye doctor with, and they're like, read the top row, you know.
Gotcha.
But it says, all that you see is a dream within a dream. And I'm like, I need that shirt because it's so cool.
I did like basically all of my junior thesis about Telltale Heart. So
Oh, there you go.
So I was a big Poe fan as well.
Yeah, no, for me it was always like the two that I was gravitated to were The Raven and The Cask of Amontillado, because I
Yeah.
always thought like as a horror story, like The Cask of Amontillado is actually
It's
really
great.
terrifying.
It's one of the best horror stories. Yeah.
It really is. Like you could almost do that as like a short video game almost.
The Pendulum is pretty good.
Pendulum's pretty good.
Yeah.
But yeah, like with the Cask of Amontillado, like I even had the idea, it's like, what if you could do it just like a short interactive, almost like a cinematic game, but you could play it from both sides.
Ooh.
Like where you could play it as the guy who locks him up in the wall, buries him in the wall,
Yeah.
but also play as the guy who's getting put in the wall.
Yeah. I think Telltale Heart would be a great horror minigame.
That would be sick.
Like specifically if you did it from the perspective of the old guy,
That would
because
be
you
really
know
cool.
what's going on,
Yeah.
you know. But like you don't realize that's the story,
Yeah.
you know. So
No, that would actually be really sick.
yeah, I mean either way, because the whole like he thinks he hears the heart in the floorboards.
Yeah.
Mwah.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. And you could totally play with that, like actually like hear the thud. And then especially
Yeah.
nowadays with like the spatial audio that you have like with Dolby Atmos and stuff, like you could actually really get creative with all of
That would be
that, and
so
it would be
fun.
so sick.
I wish if it wasn't like its own standalone thing, that would also be so cool to do, and like maybe just like a level of like a thing like one of the like Resident Evil games or something like that.
yeah.
Like you just hear like what that would work so well.
Yeah, like right now I'm thinking I'm not sure if Edgar Allan Poe's stuff is in the public domain yet or not.
I don't know.
Yeah, because it's been so long, so I'm not sure there, but that would be such a cool thing to like adapt into a video game, especially
Yeah.
if it's like public domain and anyone can do anything with
I don't
it.
think I think it might be
Yeah.
because it was written quite a while ago.
Yeah,
But
like,
I
I'm
don't
gonna have
know
to look.
if
I'm
the
gonna have to
family,
look this up now.
If the family didn't keep the rights, that is. Because,
True.
yeah. So I don't know.
We'll see. But in the meantime, we will let Rex get back from their break, and we will just let some more music play in the meantime.
And there's Rex.
Actually, scratch
Never
that.
mind. Rex is here.
Rex is here.
We're not doing music break yet.
Rex is back.
Yay.
Yay.
What? I mean, we could go to music break. You already promised the audience.
Okay.
We
You're
could
right.
have.
I have promised the audience the
Okay.
music, so we will deliver the music. Up next, actually, this is a banger, so I will go ahead and let it play.
Wrong.
Yeah, it is Cry Me a River by Justin Timberlake. Enjoy. And welcome back to the Dumpster Fire 4.2, part of AIM Student Radio, the way radio should be. I am Josh, here with Rex and with Kion.
Hello.
Hello.
We are here. That was Not Your Fault by AWOL Nation, and I had to really fight the urge to not do like a different greeting, because back when I would listen to 93.3 was right around the time that the song came out. And almost always they would play it like at the top of the hour when the song was huge, and they'd be like, channel 93.3, and then just like go into their whole spiel. And I almost like subconsciously did that for a second, but I'm like, no, that's not us.
That's not our station.
That is not our station.
What is our station number?
I think it's 89.1.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly.
89.1 AIM Student
Student Radio.
Radio, the
Yep.
way radio should be.
Yeah, now we're just going to need to like edit that out and send that to Joe and be like, hey, we got a new intro.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Hey,
let's.
Josh,
What?
is it weather out?
It is weather out. It is
Oh,
still very
boy.
much weather out.
Oh, wow. I wonder what the temperature is.
Josh is trying not to laugh
He's
directly
trying
into the
to go
mic.
so fast.
Mm-hmm.
But he's
Zoom,
being
zoom.
so...
Load the page.
I am
Load
loading
the web page.
I'm loading the page. I still have a sandwich box here, and it's
Yep.
very aerodynamic.
Oh, is that a threat?
No,
Okay.
it is a promise.
Oh,
Currently in Fort Lupton, it is 86 degrees with a high of 91, a low of 55, sunny skies, wind gusts of up to 6 miles per hour. Currently in Loveland, it is 77 degrees with a high of 89, a low of 56, sunny skies, and wind gusts of up to 1 mile per hour. Currently in Windsor, it is currently 84 with a high of 89, a low of 58, sunny skies, wind gusts of up to 1 mile per hour. And currently on the home campus of Greeley, it is 82 degrees with a high of 90, a low of 58, sunny skies, wind gusts of up to 5 miles per hour.
Sounds like weather.
It does sound like weather. I do enjoy the heat, but with all the rain that we've gotten as of late, I'm like, no, it's like a very muggy heat. I'm like, no.
When I went to the Pooter just to like walk along it the other day, it was still very full. You could actually it wasn't still that full, but it was still very like muddy.
Yeah.
So like the banks were all like washed out still.
Oh, okay.
And we walk with our dog. And so the dog wants the water, so we try to walk to the river, but I almost ruined my brand new docks because the river is all muddy. So. Yeah. Thanks, dog.
Right. And then on Friday when I was down at Friday Fest, it was just so humid outside, and when the wind would pick up, it just felt like my shirt was like soaked like to my chest.
Just like sticking to you.
Yeah.
Don't you hate that?
I countered it.
Good job.
I countered it.
Counter cough.
Yes, a counter cough. I hit the Perry mechanic just in time on that one.
Excellent.
So, Kion, you wanted to mention something.
I did? What was I wanting to mention?
Your mother's tea set.
What?
Speaking of tea sets, I've been looking at tea pets this entire time.
What a segue.
That may take the spot for like the best segue we may have ever had on the show.
So, okay, a tea pet is this little figure that traditionally you pour like herbal tea over to be like you are giving like some of your tea to like this pet, like this figure, right? And so they make a lot of them in like fun shapes, and occasionally Rex will just hand me their phone, and it's just like a figure of a very round crocodile
or other things,
but
in particular a round crocodile.
Yeah.
And a little obese boy.
Yes.
He's
A little
very
obese boy.
cute.
and it. But how do you know if it's a crocodile or an alligator?
Is it labeled crocodile?
We'll just trust what it says on the label this time.
Yeah, I'll just trust it.
The answer is the teeth. Crocodiles, you can see their teeth with their mouth shut.
You can see their teeth and the mouth is shut.
Yeah.
It is a crocodile.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Speaking of, the reason I always am obsessed with tea. I love tea. I'm a tea person. But I went to go see Yellow Mountain Tea House in Colorado Springs.
Ooh.
Very great place. You have to make a reservation, though.
Oh.
Yeah, and they're understaffed. So, if you're living in Colorado Springs or moving there, try applying for a job. You will learn to make a ton of really yummy dumplings.
One of my favorite tea
Nice.
places around here, it's in Fort Collins, and I'm going to say this very carefully. It is called Ku, so Ku Cha, CHA, tea house in Fort Collins. It's very good. They make kind of like tea lattes in-house,
Oh, dang.
but they also sell loose leaf tea and like teapots and stuff like that.
I love loose teas.
It's very good. I highly recommend if you're in the Fort Collins area.
I was just recommended
I was
one
just
up
out
in
there
Boulder.
last week, but I was over at the Foothills Mall.
Mm-hmm.
Single-handedly keeping Hot Topic in business.
Good job, Josh.
Yeah.
No, I went there the other day. I
Oh.
got a ghost shirt.
Finally, so Ghost is releasing a movie, and it's
What?
supposed to come out. Yes, it is. It is like a live concert movie, but it's also tying in with the web series, so it has
Gotcha.
all their lore kind of continuing on it as well. But the problem is, it's getting a very limited release, and I actually think the closest theater showing it to us is actually Fort Collins.
Did you
Because
guys?
as far as I've seen, they're not showing it here in Greeley, which is kind of weird because the Crest is like the big independent
you
movie
would think.
theater. You would think like, oh, they would get it, but
you
no.
did you guys know that there is an official Iron Maiden video game?
What?
Yeah,
Like
it is
the band?
the band,
let's get 2 tickets to Iron Maiden.
That's not what that. No, that is not Iron Maiden.
That was funny though.
Why was that on point as
You're
well?
welcome.
But
We
yeah,
needed that.
it's an officially licensed, not made by them, but like officially licensed. They helped do like a lot of the world building stuff.
Oh, okay.
And it's like in the style of like World of Warcraft.
Oh, okay.
So yeah,
Ooh, that
it's
sounds
it's actually
awesome.
pretty good. I have played part of it.
I was gonna say
And
I'm gonna have to try this.
I
Yeah.
might recommend this to people.
it's sort of a little bit Souls like as well.
That
but
is
it's more like World of Warcraft.
Okay.
So the only
Wow.
reason it's kind of Dark Souls-esque is just because a lot of the monsters are very like they look like they could be in a Souls game.
Okay.
So yeah, but
I'm excited.
it actually is a very good game.
How much
the-
was it?
I don't remember, but
Ooh,
um,
that makes it a coin toss.
yeah, I do remember that the graphics were crispy, but it
Was this on
I
PC
think
by
crispy
chance?
graphics are good.
Pardon?
Was this on Steam?
I believe so. Yeah, so
He's trying to look it up.
yeah.
But do you like pixelated or crisp? I think it's
I found the game.
You found
I
it?
found it. Yep. Iron Maiden Legacy of the Beast. Oh, looks like it's actually a mobile game.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought
so-
there was a Steam version.
No, at least not what I
Interesting.
see. It looks like it's just only in on Android and iOS.
That's probably
Okay.
why the graphics are crispy then.
Yeah, I thought I played it on PC. Maybe there was like a port or like a trial version for it.
Are
Possibly.
you guys graphics or like what kind of graphics video game do you guys lean to?
So-
Crispy or crisp clear?
It depends for me on the game.
Yeah.
Because also too, because I do play on PC. For me, if it's a game where you can tell the graphics are really kind of the big seller,
like Ghost
so
of
like
Tsushima.
like Ghost of Tsushima, The Last of Us,
Yeah.
the Gears of War games, like those are meant to like wow you with the graphics. Those are the ones that even if the frame rate is lower, if I have to drop it down to 30, but I can max out the graphics on my PC, then I will. And that's actually what I've been doing with The Last of Us and with Gears 5. Actually, Gears 5, I was pleasantly surprised because I installed it on my PC and I was able to crank it up to Ultra, and my rig somehow still manages to hit 60, which I was very surprised about because it is a very demanding game. Even like the next gen versions that they did for like the for the Xbox Series X,
Yeah.
it still pushes it pretty hard. So I was kind of surprised that my rig actually pulled it off. I was like, whoa, okay then.
Yeah. I would say for me, I prefer anything that is stylized. So I really don't love like I've not played that much of it in fairness, but I don't love the graphic style of like Sea of Thieves or like Raft.
Yeah.
Because to me it just kind of looks plasticky anyway.
Yeah.
And so I prefer very stylized. So anything that's like Stardew Valley I classify as still stylized because they're choosing to do that pixelated look,
Mhm.
you know.
Yeah, and it's every pixelated game has its own style too.
Yeah.
Just because it's
Yeah.
old.
Hollow
like-
Knight I think is a good example of a good stylized game.
I think there's a game I can't quite remember, but it had it so all the characters are on basically puppets on popsicle sticks, so that
Yeah.
when they turned around, they were just you'd see the flatness
Yeah.
and they'd go turn. It's
Oh,
awesome.
okay.
I love those.
I'm also one of my favorite games that for style wise is Night in the Woods.
Oh, there you
Very
go.
good. Very good style. It's like a 2D flat game
Yeah.
and it's wonderful. I love it so much.
I have no idea what this game is, but it sounds fun.
Yes. I think in general I don't play a whole lot of like action-based games.
Yeah.
Me neither.
Most of mine are like story-based
I
or
was
like
gonna say then you have me.
yeah.
I mostly play games that are one screen pixelated platformers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't really play that many platformers. Mine are more like basically story, but not in the same way of like Detroit Become Human or
Yeah.
like those. It's more like it's more like Undertale, you know.
Have you ever heard of One Shot?
I have heard of One Shot.
I got the game so I can play it as an adult, but also I want to record it so I can watch it back on what I did dumb me, you know, dumb.
Yeah, I've not played it, and I've not seen a playthrough of it because I know at some point I probably will get it, and I don't want to see anything of it. That's one of the few ones I don't want to know.
I watched it when it first came out
Mm-hmm.
by Jacksepticeye, so I know what happens. I understand the point of stuff.
Yeah.
But I don't remember any of the puzzles or how to get there, so I'm so excited.
Yeah.
There you go. But yeah, like for me, when it comes to like graphics and such, it just really depends on the game. Like if you can tell that the graphics are the main like gist of the game, like The Last of Us, where it's like, oh, look how realistic this is, you know.
Yeah.
Then okay, I'll focus on that.
For me, I think if it's a game that is trying to be cinematic, I prefer if there is good graphics. And I mean that for like Red Dead Redemption. What's another good example?
Death Stranding.
Yeah, Death Stranding. Because it's a very like it's not so much of like a choose your own adventure, more so of
go through a movie.
Right. And I think those I do really appreciate having the really good graphics for because it tells the story better.
They're like interactive movies, basically.
Right.
I love interactive movies and story games.
And whereas something like Detroit Become Human, I don't love. I don't think it needed to have for the time as good graphics, just because it was meant to be way more of like you're supposed to tell the story of these androids, and I feel like making them look way too human didn't really help the story that much. So
I think maybe it kind of helped with the debate of people debating their humanity because they were kind of sentient.
Yeah.
But I never really played through the game, so I
think,
have no...
In my opinion, I feel like it would have made the argument more poignant if they looked more robotic, because then it would have been more of like, these robots are sentient, they are still human, versus like the only thing that is making them really stand out as not human is like an LED, you know? So...
But I think it also was for fandom base, because even though everyone can cosplay pretty much anything, especially those skilled ones who make, oh my goodness.
Oh yeah.
But I think for maybe more beginner cosplayers or people trying to get into fandom or cosplay, it was more like, hey, look at this cool idea.
Yeah.
You can literally just make yourself a bot. Look at this. Put an LED on.
I wish they would have taken the angle. I think, what was that in? I think it was in Fallout. There's a very specific like faction of robots that are like actively try to make themselves look less human, so that way they can prove that they're not people, because they want to like stand out and be separate. So like I wish they would have taken that route at least a little bit, like if there would have been a section that was like of them gaining sentience, so they started doing that, you know.
Yeah, it would have been really interesting if they had it so that there were some rebel robots where they peeled off their
that would have been
latex like facade,
and then it was just all like their skin or made themselves more modified to their own being.
But that my obsession with Detroit Become Human is showing. I think it might be time to wrap up. That's how you know it's
well, we are going to wish you a farewell. On to Josh.
On to me. Wow. Okay, I could have worded that better. But anyways, that about does it here for our show today. We do thank you all so much for listening. We will be back next week with more chaos than ever before, because that's just what we do here on the Dumpster
More
Fire.
dumpsters and more fire.
With more dumpsters and more fire.
Yes.
But not real fire.
And a dash of roller coaster.
And a dash of roller coaster.
Is the roller coaster car a dumpster or a fire?
We're going to have to figure that. We're going to have to figure that out. But we got a week to figure it out. And we all thank you all so much for listening. This was a Dumpster Fire. This is AIM Student Radio, and you have been warned. Enjoy.